Allie with Potomac Beads. Join me in making this ocean treasure necklace. This is going to be a very rope style that you can wear at all different lengths if you want to create a necklace, a bracelet, an anklet, or one of your choosing. Keep in mind, if you need any of the materials, check below me to shop with us online at PotomacBeads.com as well as PotomacBeads.eu. So our Ocean's Treasure rope is going to have a herringbone style, but we are going to be using 2 needles. So rather than 1 needle and going back and forth with a herringbone, we're using 2. The reason we are using 2 is because we want to get a seed bead symmetry on both sides of the design. We're going to be using a cup button for the clasp or closure, and I have currently 2 size 10 beading needles on 1 piece of thread. You're going to want at least 5 feet of thread, and you may even want to add more as we go through the design. To begin, what I want you to do is pick up 1, 2, and 3 15-0 seed beads. I'm using the Miyuki 15 in the Crystal Labrador Full, and I'm going through one of my white shimmer buttons from the bowl side out towards the top. That's going to decorate the end there just with a couple little seed beads for the end of the button. From here, I want you to take 1, 2, and 3 15-0s and put them on your right needle, and 3 15s and put them on your left. Let those drop down next to your button. And then what we're going to do is pick up our first StormDuos. So again, the StormDuos I have are the vintage copper color. They are going to sit next to one another in that herringbone style. So they're going to sit almost with the edge kissing, and we're going to cross through the bottom. I want 1 needle to go from the right to the left through both bottom holes of the StormDuo, and then the other needle to go from the left to the right. You want to make sure that you maintain the same amount of thread on both sides of your needle as you begin the design. From here on the right side, everything we do is going to be the same as the left. I want to pick up 3 more 15s and go through the top hole of that same StormDuo. From here, I want to grab my next set of my StormDuos. So again, I'm going to have them so that they're kind of kissing there at the bottom. And you can turn these if you need to on the mat. You're going to have one kind of facing the other. One tail facing towards that right-hand side and one tail facing towards the left. If you happen to have any, like I do here with a little bit of a clogged hole, just go ahead and ream that out with your needle and get some of that coating out of the way that's blocking the hole. From here then, we're going to put on our 1 and our 2 of our StormDuo beads. Once you have the 2 StormDuo beads on your right needle, go ahead and take your needle through that upper hole of the StormDuo from round 1 that sits right across. Give a nice tight pull, and those StormDuos are going to sit nestled right inside the other ones. With the left-hand needle, I want you to repeat. So you're going to do 3 15s. You're not adding any of the StormDuos now, because what you're just going to do is go up to that top hole, go right through the first hole of the 2 that sit in the center of that herringbone design, and then straight over, so you're coming out the StormDuo on the opposite side. So you're going to be exiting right where the seed beads end. From here, go ahead and put 3 more 15-0s onto your needle, and you're going to step up to the second hole of the one that you just added. Again, on the left-hand side, same thing. 3 15 goes on, and I step up into the hole that I just added. Now again, we're going to do about 5 of these before we put on our RounDuo. So when you're out in the center, you're going to make the StormDuo so one of the tails is facing towards the left and one is facing towards the right. Go in here with your needle and thread and go through both of those first holes of that StormDuo bead, picking up those little wavy C's. Take your second needle, go through the exact same beads and out through the last StormDuos that you just added. So your threaded needle is always going to be coming out that StormDuo through the second hole. Then again, we add 3 seed beads, 1, 2, and 3 15s, and step up from the top hole of the second row of our StormDuos to the top hole of the third row of our StormDuos. I'm going to continue doing this, adding in 2 more rows of my StormDuos before I get to put in the first of my RounDuo beads in that pearl color. Once you've added in your 5 rows of your StormDuos, you're going to get ready to add in your first RounDuo. And this is not a RounDuo mini, it's just a regular RounDuo. On both the right and the left needle, I'm going to put 1 15-0 and let that drop down towards the center of the StormDuos, just as if I was going to get ready to add my next row. I'm going to take my RounDuo mini and through the first hole, take 1 needle from the right to the left and the other from left to right, crisscrossing in the middle of that RounDuo. From there, because it's white, you're not going to see it, I'm going to go through the second hole. If you do have a thread color that you will see, you can decorate it with 3 little 15-0 seed beads. I'm going to go right through because I want the illusion of that pearl being open. From here, I'm going to repeat the pattern, but we're going to go backwards, basically, is the way that you want to think about it. You want to think about the StormDuos as nestling the pearl, and then they're going to sit so they go the same in reverse order. To do so, I want you to put a 15-0 on both the left and the right needle, and then you're going to sew through the StormDuo bead from the interior towards the exterior. With one side, and then with the other side, same. Still, you're putting a 15-0 on, and then I'm going to line up my StormDuo bead so I make sure that it looks like it's nestling in. So I'm kind of nestled in the edge there. From here, you're going to pick up 1, 2, 3 of your 15-0 seed beads, and then we're going to get ready to add our next StormDuo bead. The StormDuo beads, as we add them now, we're doing that reverse herringbone style. The way that I want to add them is so they sit, again, nestled inside of one another. So if you need to, you can kind of pull them together like that, sit them like they need to go to create that nice little form, and then you're going to sew through that top hole all the way over to the other side. Once you have 3 15s on one side, you're putting 3 15s on the other side, and we are going to repeat this then in our pattern of 3. So I'm going through that second hole of my StormDuos, straight over, through the StormDuo on the other side, till I'm out the exterior hole. From here then I'm going to grab my thread and needles from the opposite side and go through those same exact holes, over coming out then through the exterior hole of the StormDuo that I just added. You can see how pretty then that little ocean treasure tucked in there between the StormDuo is. Same thing now, I'm going to go through, add in 3 more seed beads, and add in my next row of my StormDuo beads so they sit nestled right inside of one another. After this third row, we're going to take a little break, reverse it then again, and get back and ready to add our next RounDuo in. To act as a connector now on both the right and the left side after getting in your set of 3, you're going to add 3 15-0s and sew through the bottom connecting those StormDuos. From here, you're going to grab 1 15-0, grab your next pearl bead, and you're going to string straight across and grab another 15-0. With the thread that's at the top then, I want you to grab 1 15-0, sew through the second hole of the RounDuo. So these will be sitting opposite, and grab your next 15. That pearl then is going to hang out right there where it's come together. Now we're going to yet reverse it again. So 3 more rows of our StormDuos going in the opposite direction. So you're going to look at your StormDuos. You're going to do them so the centers are kissing, right, like so. Have those centers kissing, and you're going to crisscross through the first hole of those RounDuos. Coming out the first hole then, add in your 3 15s and sew down into the second hole to mimic this same idea along this treasure, this ocean treasure necklace. After a set of 3 of the herringbone StormDuos, it's time to reverse it. So we're going to go in and add a 15-0 and a RounDuo and a 15-0. And currently I have my left needle in my hand. I'm going to sew through the beads there, just kind of let it hang out here. On the opposite side, same deal, sewing through the 15 and the thread, and then out. And out here, I've gone one too far. I went through the 15. I want to back that out. So that way you're coming out between the 15 and the RounDuo on both sides. Go ahead and sneak the thread up to the second hole. The thread that's on the left comes through the second hole towards the right, and the thread on the right goes through the second hole on the left. From here again, add a 15-0 on both the right and the left needles, and then line up your your StormDuos so that way they are ready to go again to sit nestled along the side of the beads. If you happen to pick up the StormDuo in the wrong direction, you'll notice it looks funky, and it's a lot easier for those of you that aren't familiar with working with them to lay them out like I was doing here to make sure that as you're stringing them, the kind of bottom of the StormDuo is kind of kissing against itself there along the outer edge. I'm going to string through them, doing a rotation every 3 of going in or out around or kind of opening near that pearl RounDuo bead. As you continue the design, you can see that nice inside and exterior effect going on where every other RounDuo is encapsulated by the StormDuos, and then on the outside it is floating on the outside. You can keep going, make it longer for a nice draping necklace. You can make it really long for a beautiful opera length 48-inch necklace. You can also keep in mind you can do 3 different varieties of colors of the actual StormDuo beads and have them go ombre, maybe darker to lighter, as they go in or out of that RounDuo bead. Once you get your necklace to be the appropriate length, what you're going to do is the last section here, and I did 5 on the end just like I did on the start instead of my grouping of 3. I'm going to sew through my last StormDuo bead after adding my 3 beads on each end, and rather than adding another RounDuo here at the end, what I'm going to do is make a loop of seed beads to go into my button. This is a great opportunity to clean up the bead board or your bead mat as you're working with it. I'm just going to take one of the needles, usually whichever thread is longer, and I'm going to clean up my board of all of the 15-0s sitting around. What you're going to end up doing is about 32 15-0s if you're using a cup button to go around the whole exterior of the button. If you need to, you can dump a couple more out. And again, what this is going to do is create the loop for our thread or our button to sit inside of. If you wanted to use a regular clasp, clasp garden clasp, a lobster clasp, a toggle clasp, those are going to go on at the same exact way. Instead of putting on more seed beads, put on 2 15-0s and then a wire guard or a wire protector, and you're going to use that to hold in your clasp. Once you have enough to make your loop, you're going to take the other thread that you have left and you're going to reinforce this loop that you just made. I'm going to sew through that top hole of my StormDuos out to the opposite side to finish up that loop. On the opposite side now, I'm going to take the thread and needle here and go back through all of these beads to reinforce that loop. Once I'm to the other side, I'm going to sew down into the project a tiny bit with my thread and then knot the 2 threads off together. If you did have a portion in the project where you needed to add thread, what you want to do is simply get the needles on the same side of one of your beads, tie them off, and then start a new piece of thread. Thanks so much for joining me in making this fun ocean treasure necklace design. Whether or not you make it short like a choker or long like an opera length, you'll have a lot of fun playing with the StormDuos and creating this nice hidden gem with the RounDuo in the middle. Remember, if you need any materials, check the links below us to shop with us online. In addition to that, make sure if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you get regular updates from us here at PotomacBeads. As always, thanks so much for watching and enjoy your Ocean's Treasure necklace.